it's more fun than a lot of sports cars, because California road, you're always afraid you're going to break the car somehow on the road, you know? Whereas this thing, that's what it's built for.
You shift aggressively like that, it feels good. Yeah. Then the car feels like what it's supposed to be doing.
Well, this is where it lives, you know? I mean, it's really a lot of fun, actually. Welcome to that episode of Jay Leno's Garage. Very rare car we're featuring today, a 1986 Ford RS200. This is one of those, I guess it was Group B rally cars, 1.8 liter Cosworth motor, about 240 horsepower, all-wheel drive, really fast. There's a whole story behind why these are huge in Europe, Asia. It never quite caught on in America. And we'll find out why. Kind of like my next guest, never quite caught on in America. Please welcome Tim Allen. Tim, come on.
It was great. Never caught on in Europe. That would have been more, the joke would have been funnier. Because I didn't think it was funny at all, that whole thing about me not catching on in the U.S.
No, I didn't mean it to be funny. I've given facts.
Good going. Very good. Good recovery.
Ken Block had one of these, and I was in his.
He did a street version, and I think Bruce Canepa did the same thing where Bruce does. Takes these wonderful pieces of engineering and makes them drivable, because this is kind of questionable if it's drivable. It's real tough to drive this thing.
Well, I know Tim has a fascinating collection of stuff, and you like engineered stuff, you like American stuff, and this kind of clicks all the boxes. But this is Ford of England, not Ford of America.
Right,
correct?
And I said, you know, they're a very different company. As far as I know, engineering-wise, Ford wanted to win in rally, in that Group B, I think, rally. Right. It didn't catch on in the U.S. I don't know why, because it's really cool to watch. I love rally cars. I love that they go really fast over any terrain.
I know it is funny it didn't catch on, because you think it would, because we love the Mint 400, we love the Baja, and this is when I would watch them, just like cutting the path through the forest, just knocking down trees and bushes.
Holland, it just so weird, but it's almost like soccer to me.
Yeah.
It's so big over there, and it's just, you can't hear it. We're getting in it.
Right.
And I think rally cars, we did the Mint, like you said, in the off-the-road stuff. What's that one Bronco I still love? The mid-engine Bronco that just sold for like $1 million.
A Big Ole.
Big Ole is that's my fantasy. That's what I love more than anything else, and that's why I first liked this thing. But mostly with me, I love the stance of this. I think it's still current looking today.
It does. It does. And a short wheelbase, a lot of horsepower, crazy to drive, but a lot of fun.
I'm a design guy. I like how it looks. People come into my shop and they don't know what it is, but they like how it looks.
Right.
And I said, that's not Bauhaus design. Bauhaus is form follows function.
Right.
You start popping stuff off of this, and it was originally designed, as they say, I catch it, is so with the co-driver, if he heard some noise, he could pop out, pop 2 bolts off, put in a shock absorber on. This is really fixable on the road, and in little pieces, it's an amazing piece of engineering.
And the fun thing about it is, it's got normal ground clearance. You know, in California, the roads are so terrible. Everybody I know with Mustangs, they all have broken splitters in the front because they're too low and they hit a pothole or something. Whereas this thing, with our terrible roads and the high ground clearance, off-road, on-road, same thing. I mean, you drive the 405 freeway, you feel like you're off-road all the time.
I took a lesson from Emerson Fittipaldi, who knew about this and got the note to me. I don't remember how it got to me, as I took it up to Willow Springs to see how it could do.
Right.
I was having a very tough time managing on the road, and then he said, it's not meant for that. If you get 1 or 2 wheels off the road, it starts doing its thing. It's actually not all-wheel drive. It's literally a transfer case, 4-wheel drive.
Right.
And you can adjust it with a gear shift where you want the bias, back or front. And he said, you take this off the road, or at least 2 wheels off the road, you'll get it. And I said, I want to see if you want to see what the problem is with this thing. This Lotus engine, Cosworth engine, has a lot of power at a certain point.
Right.
And it has some Achilles heel, if you will.
Okay, so it's peaky. You mean it's just, yeah. Okay. Let's take a look. Engine is in the rear for those that don't know. This is based on Well, it's not based on a rear engine car.
No, it's mid-engine, really.
Yeah, mid-engine.
They call it mid-engine. They've split the case. I believe half of the transmission's back here,
right,
and the front part, it's a really peculiar setup. And like you said in Ford, like the GT40, that was a Lola chassis.
Right.
Ford of America modified it by just typical us. Let's get a bigger motor in it.
Yeah.
Maybe a truck motor will fit in there.
Well, that was my favorite thing about that whole Le Mans area. You had Ferrari, which was a $10 million company at the time, and we were a $5 billion company with Ford, and we were the underdogs.
Right.
My golly, we're going to go in there and we're going to, yes, sir, that American spirit. And we were flying windshields in on 747s, you know, because they kept cracking. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. But I don't believe, I said, hopefully someone will call us on this. The chassis is like Ford of England said, whoever makes the chassis, can they make them one? I don't know if the Renault and the Peugeot had the same chassis, but those rally cars are just dynamic.
Right.
And I think Ford wanted in on that, Ford of England, and so they built Homologated. Did we get the name right?
Yeah, I had it in my head, and you said it wrong, and now
well,
I
the
keep
H is silent. It's H-O-M.
Right.
They had to build so many.
Homologated or something. Yeah, something like that.
They had to build, and then
so many of them.
And the sad thing, if we're doing that now, is that in '86, I believe in Portugal, the Group B version of this is the street version.
Right.
The race version is up to 700 horsepower, 560. It's a little bit taller. Everything else is the same.
Yeah, that has a 2.1 liter motor and
I believe it's a different turbo.
580.
That's
yeah.
it. Just a gigantic turbo. Same suspension, same car, because it's like the NASCAR rules.
Right.
And this split off the road. It's on a YouTube video. Weird YouTube, and horribly slams into 11 people and kills 3 of them. 3 to 6 died or something like that. It was in '86. Some children involved in that. The rally system, this whole Group B Unlimited, I think, went away. Ford was stuck with 250 of them sitting there, and I said, hey, I read about it. I want to go buy one. Wasn't really thinking about rules and regulations.
Right.
It took a long time to get it back to the States, and I drove it. Tried to drive. It's just not a.
Well, don't give it away. Let's see. I'm curious to see. I was curious.
Yeah, sure you are. You got to drive it without your shirt. That's one of the weird things about the thing.
Right. Yeah, that'll work. Let's open the hood. Let's take a look at this thing.
Good luck.
Open some back here or inside?
I don't know, Jay. Now you've embarrassed me.
That's an impressive piece of fiberglass, isn't it? Look at that.
Well, I think that was new for them. I don't know the Renault and Peugeot. I like that name. Where they used the streetcar bodies, but this seemed like it was an unusual thing for Ford to do. But Ford of England, once again, they're English.
But again, it looks like
Colonizers.
an automotive version of the Venus flytrap. You go, hey, let me take a look at that, and then the thing just eats you.
What I love still is I love the combination of rally cars. I don't like big 4x4 trucks. I've always liked them, but they're cruddy on the street.
Right.
They're just not right.
It's really, I don't understand why this didn't catch on at the time, because it seems like the perfect combination of hot rod and off-road.
Off-road.
Yeah, I mean, you could use this as an everyday car. If someone didn't know, they just think, oh, it's a cute little car.
Right.
You know?
This is a strange conversation because right now in my shop, I'm redoing a old Chevy H3 Alpha, which is a V8, the small vehicle, but I'm taking all the chrome off of it, dropping it instead of raising it, turning it into more of a rally car, all-wheel drive, and it's working so far, although I feel like a bank robber. What I like about this, twin shocks, real simple suspension setup, easy to fix when you're on the road. In a rally, somehow the driver gets out, let me get my toolbox and replace the shocks. I don't know what they mean by that. Again, I don't know the engineering. This is not a Ford chassis. This must have been like, was it Chenoweth? The guys that made the VWs off the roads.
Yeah.
But that was a company that made off-the-road chassis, if I recall.
Oh, so this wasn't built at Ford of England?
No, I don't believe. I think this was they said, who builds the best chassis for off-the-road vehicles?
Yeah, that's true. Well, the English do that. It's all cottage industry.
Exactly.
You know.
I like what you just said. This would be a great street car if you liked driving over people's yards.
Right. right. Yeah.
And again, it's a Lotus motor, and it
Lotus or Cosworth?
Cosworth.
Cosworth, yeah.
Isn't that Lotus? I thought it was. Again, now we're going to both of us.
Well, pick it up again. Just say Cosworth motor. Go ahead.
No.
It's a Cosworth.
I'm not saying it. You say it.
Well, it's a Cosworth motor, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's not even my car.
Whose car is it?
I don't know. It just showed up here.
Oh, okay.
They told me I get some free coffee and a donut if I stop by and pretend that this is mine. Yes, it's my car. I said I don't like pretending I know stuff I don't know.
Right.
I believe it's a Cosworth motor.
Right.
But I thought it was essentially Lotus engineering. But what are those? When you said Cosworth Lotus, that's two names that I thought were.
Well, Cosworth built motors for Lotus and vice versa.
Tom Cosworth, he's a good friend of mine.
Like,
Billy Lotus was a
exactly.
singer.
But I like Gordon Murray's latest T50. That's a Cosworth motor.
You're just throwing names
No,
out
I'm
right
just
now. I have
not.
no idea what you just said.
Well, anyway, his new motor that he just developed, the V12, he developed with Cosworth. Well, can we take this thing for a ride?
I want to take it for a ride. Definitely want to see you drive the thing. That's what I
Yeah,
want to do.
okay.
And see if you pick out its Achilles heel will be, and it's a tremendous. Everything about this thing is wonderful.
I mean, the only thing I've heard, the owner is really annoying. That's the only thing I know. So let me drive it and
with
see.
a straight face. Though.
Yeah.
You
That's
sell the joke. Sell the joke.
That's the problem with
Sell
these
the
cars.
joke.
The owners are really annoying.
Annoyed. You could use a better term, but it's not allowed here
No,
on YouTube.
I think
It's
annoying,
not MeTube
annoying,
or
I think,
RTube.
says it
it's
all.
YouTube.
That's right. I think annoying, as I said, annoying says it all.
Uh-huh. Hope we have some scissors with us.
Let's see what we have here.
That's because somebody in this room said, make sure they've got scissors. You need help getting in, Jay?
Oh, this thing is a little. Here we go.
You can drive with your leg out.
All right,
Is it
now,
fun
man.
to laugh at another guy's infirmaries? Yeah.
Boy, I'm surprised this is so
Watch
tight.
this. Oh, look at that.
Ow, ow, ow.
Ew. Oh. See?
There you go.
Notice right away.
Oh.
Okay, that was good. How was it?
Nice drive. Gotta let it warm up a little bit.
You think? But what I like still right away is they took elements out of other cars. You have a Ford GT, right?
Yeah, I got two.
They redid this dash for this kind of a car, and it still looks pretty good. Keep it up into here. It's a very different car.
Oh yeah, it is. And then, boy, once that turbo comes in,
Then it's a car.
yeah.
But look how fast we're going. And this is it's starting to be a car now.
You hit $5,000, that's when it takes off.
Right. I like those guys. When you watch these guys race, this guy's always going. I never understood what that means. I guess I'm alerting you that there's a turn because you got to watch other things. You've seen rally guys drive?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this thing is great.
That's what it's all about. Where you are, that's what it's all about. Right here, it's a useless car to me. Its rev range is so high that there's a gap, of physical gap.
Well, you know, it's so funny. It's like when you get some of those racing motorcycles where, you know, the two-strokes, now the tax starts at 3,500.
That's what it's almost like you got me really involved, liking it, that GT350 Mustang R. That thing doesn't, I mean, in first gear, all of a sudden I'm doing 70 miles an hour, and I'm going, and there's no place to use that. You can't use any of the North Star V8 and Cadillac was about the same thing. But this loves undulating roads.
This thing is great.
You like it, you found the sweet spot right in here. And imagine this on a dirt road with four-wheel drive. You could drift this thing and pull it around, you know. I think it's brilliant there. How often are you here? It's a sweet spot of this motor right in here. Up till there, it's so frickin' flat.
Well, don't go there. It's like the old thing, it hurts when I do that. Don't do that.
It hurts when I go like this.
It hurts when I do this. Don't do that.
The doctor said that. You fix my shoulder? Yeah, because it keeps hurting when I go like this. Hey, don't do that. Thank you. But right in here, this is not a capable street car. You got to give it, you know, to get it out of gear like that. And I think it's got 2 plates in the clutch. It's a race clutch, whatever that means. I don't know what the
AP clutch is in this thing.
What's the benefit?
I don't know. Less sleepage at high speed. I don't know. But it's like anything else. You can make it do what you want.
typically you're very adept at this. You know right away you found the car.
Well, you know, I drive something different every day, so I don't get in my head that it should be this way.
I appreciate that. I said the same with me. I get lazy and I drive something like the Plaid because it does everything at a C plus, B minus level combined. It's faster than anything I own and boring. It's comfortable, but like an IKEA piece of furniture. It's kind of a cool dashboard and kind of a boring dashboard. It's bumped so well.
Yeah.
Multi-link suspension with twin shocks on all four wheels. Modulations and freeways are nothing to this thing, so you can imagine in a dirt road how cool this thing would be going sideways on dirt.
I know, you see yourself just doing this all the time.
I almost think that the equivalent would be an SRX or an STI, the Subarus. Do they still make those?
Well, you know my little Rocket, the Gordon Murray car, the red car?
Yeah.
The water pump doesn't kick in until 3,500 RPM.
You'd be a good rally driver. You know where this thing runs.
Oh, this thing is great. It is a whole different car above $5,000.
Like I said, its downfall was at slow speeds, it has very little effect. So when they had to slow it down in the rallies, the other cars, the rev range was lower, they still had plenty of oomph. So I never got it on the racetrack. It's okay. It loves to be off the road. That's what it was built for.
I like the way the wheel fights you.
Well, it reminds me of that Shelby. That 350, you got to hold on to that.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. You need to concentrate driving that. Same with this. But this you're doing real good.
It doesn't feel like a 33-year-old car. No, what a 40-year-old car almost. Yeah.
There's nothing quite like this car, and they don't make anything like it, although, as I said, that's horsepower there for you. Because I'm looking at the other, I'm fascinated by rally cars. The other one is that, like I said, that Subaru WRXI or something. They're 350 horsepower, little, with a pancake motor. What the does that drive like?
Well, I see how this would be so much fun on a dirt road.
Oh, I love how it's that combination of a Jeep, that stability of a 4x4, but it has a race car quality to it.
Too much pavement. We need no pavement. Boy, what a great engine is it.
Well, you have found the sweet spot.
I can't imagine the competition was 580 horsepower. This thing is incredible with 250.
Well, the other one I really would like to drive is that Peugeot and the Renault that won, that kicked this thing. Couldn't even keep up with it. And then you're doing this on a dirt road with people standing right here. It was what a colossal mistake it was. Of course, the tragedy, all those people died in '86 in Portugal. I feel like a grave digger. I mean, it was because the only reason that anybody can own one of these is because of that tragedy.
Yeah.
It reminds me of somebody told me about the early Can-Am days.
Yeah.
Those cars are faster than race cars today.
Yeah.
What, unlimited horsepower? You just had to have 2 seats in it and a spare tire, right?
You know, once you pick it up, it's okay. And once it warms up,
It's okay. I said where it was.
it's tower. It makes the top end worthwhile. I mean, all the fun you get from that top end, you'll put up with it. If it didn't have that, then it would be a real pain. But the great thing about a car like this, when you're on a road like this in California, where you don't know if you're going to hit a pothole, you just hit the pothole and keep going.
You actually aim for the pothole.
Yeah, that's right. You aim for the pothole. If we were in our Ford GTs, we'd have busted spin.
None of the. There's something livable about this car. But you're finding all of it. I said that mid-range and low-end lack of torque was its Achilles heel, which really makes me want to drive the Peugeot or the Renault, whatever they raced those. And I don't know that they had to come up with the same street car version. Is that just a U.S. thing? Probably not. That means there was a Renault.
No, that's European.
So they had a rally car version of that in France.
Once you're out of low Revville, boy, don't worry about it. You know, just keep it up around 6-7 grand. You know, in a lot of ways, it's more fun than a lot of sports cars because with California road, you're always afraid you're going to break the car somehow on the road, you know? Whereas this thing, that's what it's built for.
And I said, what if any modern, even from 75 up till now, any kind of car that has anything like this would have to be custom made, or like I told you, Chenoweth or that Ole Bronco.
Yeah.
Ole Bronco reminded me of that it could do like a Swiss Army knife of cars. It could do everything well. It could go off the road, winter, summer, and it didn't bother no matter what type of road condition. The chassis was...
Yeah, my neighbor owns that Ole Bronco. It's pretty cool.
Just sold, didn't it? But what's curious is nobody ever made a street version of a car like that.
Yeah.
They did this, SUVs.
You know, the fun thing about it, you get to use all the power all the time. And it really is a more than adequate amount of power. You know, a lot of the hypercars and supercars you buy,
No need for it.
yeah, it's more power than you need, and you don't really get to take it up into the limits. Whereas this, you can take it right to red line, and you're still going plenty fast.
So you see where its genius was.
Yeah.
Chassis design, I don't know about ergonomics. I don't know the other ones that won.
Yeah.
The Peugeot was real cool looking, so is the Renault. Both of them are really cool looking cars.
The genius part is letting me drive it. That's I think, the real genius. It means the race car for real world driving.
Well, exactly. It also begs the question, what I was thinking about that, where you need race cars teach us a lot about passenger cars. We learn a lot about how to make a car by pushing everything with regular cars. There's never been, rally never translated. Even though this is real world driving, going fast on a dirt road, what's the passenger equivalent of this car?
I don't know. But it's amazing to me that it never caught on here, because this is exactly what Americans do this every weekend in a Bronco.
Well, the Bronco is if you drop the Bronco and put double coils on all the wheels like that Ole, yes. Like I wanted to make an Ole. I've always wanted to make that car. Yeah. I can't remember. I'm just throwing names. I thought it was Chenoweth made the chassis.
Not sure.
But it's a chrome moly chassis that's tube. That if you took the body off, that's not a Bronco. It's a Bronco body on something. Just like this isn't a Ford.
I think this is one of the most fun cars I've ever driven. It's really great. I just like it because I'm not worried about damaging it on the road. You know the Ford GT, and it goes without saying, the McLaren, you drive it so gently because you're afraid you're going to break.
Constantly worried about, and I said that Ford GT, I'm back to, that's why I'm doing that H3 Alpha. It's not quite like this. Its chassis is serious.
You really have to drive this long to get it warm enough to where everything, like it's not quite so sensitive at low RPM anymore.
As much. But imagine if you had that torque curve, so it was all the way into that. I'd like put it, this is the twin cam. I don't know if you put bigger pistons in it. I don't know how to make it so it has more horsepower all the way through the rev range. And I don't understand, because I don't know transmissions, what's the advantage of this dual clutch system? Here it works fine.
Right.
Slower speeds, if you wanted to combine this with a street car, you'd have to modify that a little bit. They didn't care. They just had to make street versions. This is still the race car. I don't think there's any difference.
Right.
But next time I talk to you, I do want to find out that WRXi. There's one that's real pricey right now.
Right.
That's 300 horsepower, that pancake Subaru motor. And that thing allegedly is kick-ass. It's like this.
Yeah.
It's not as compliant. It's It's still a little narrower. It doesn't have any of that. This still is very compliant.
Well, all this travel is what makes the suspension reasonably comfortable.
Yes.
But you're never bottoming.
You're never bottoming. And then this obvious question for me is, why are there double coils on all four wheels? What does that give you that they don't do it on anything else?
Well, the fact that I think you're traveling at such speed. Well, you got to remember this car is 33 years old. Imagine how far suspension has come since this was built.
I don't think it has, Jay. I think this is the state of the art for this. No one ever needed this again.
Well, Tim, thanks for bringing this by. This is really a fascinating car. You know, Tim has got a great taste in cars. Everything from early 409 Chevys to things like this, to supercars. So, true petrolhead. Tim, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, and now, Tim, you're building a car on YouTube. What is it?
It's a very long process electric hot rod, an old Detroit 34 Vicky that we've redone, and it's almost ready to ride. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called the Vic, and my
The pick?
the Vic.
Oh, the Vic. Oh, Vic. Okay.
Victoria.
So where do they go? Give us the address. Tim Allen, what is it?
YouTube channel. I don't know.
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
It's got to be my name, I guess. That sounds horrible.
It's gotta be his name.
It's not your name.
Okay, anyway.
We'll give my name later. You're going to have to dub it or something. No, the name is, well, I'll show you the name. There you go. That's the name. Just click on that. But right now we're in the middle of the Vic. It's been a 5-year process. I'm on it a lot of times, but really we're shooting different shops, putting it together to show you. When they show you how cars are made on TV, we're showing you how long it really takes to make a car.